Unless you're a huge Mr. Bean fan, you probably never knew this, but there's actually two recreations of some of the famous skits from the Mr. Bean series. Now, the two recreations are Mr. Bean Takes an Exam and Mr. Bean Attends a Movie Premiere. And these are recreations of the famous skits, The Exam, and the movie premiere from the original TV series. Now, back in 1991, November, 20th Century Fox actually held the rights to make a film adaptation for the character. Now, back at that time, this was 1 year into Mr. Bean being on TV, and unless you had BBC or BBC America, you probably weren't as aware of the character as people are today. And since there's no streaming websites or anything like that at the time, a lot of people were obviously unaware of the comedic genius of Rowan Atkinson and his team for Mr. Bean. Now, 20th Century Fox obviously saw a hole in the American market in terms of British comedy and thought that if they get the rights to make a film adaptation for the series, then obviously they have a hit in store. Now, unfortunately for 20th Century, they never got to make the film, and another production company actually made it in 1997, and it's a wonderful film. But the 1991 version was about to go into production, so they made two recreations of these famous skits in order to help reintroduce the character into the American audience. Now, these skits were actually never shown outside of theaters, and they were only playing before 20th Century Films while they played in theaters from the winter season 1991 till 1992. And if you want to see these skits, they're actually on YouTube now. And if you just type in Mr. Bean Takes an Exam and Mr. Bean Attends a Movie Premiere, you can actually see the Americanized version of those famous skits from the British original series. Now, after watching it and being a huge Mr. Bean fan, I still enjoyed these two skits, but they were missing that kind of flair and that kind of energy that was in the original series. And of course, the cinematography, the placement of the scenes, and the way that the scenes were like produced were obviously more Americanized, and it was really cool to see. But I really loved the way that the British version was made and the way that it felt. And I feel like these recreations didn't have the same kind of energy towards it. And I'm kind of also glad that 20th Century never got to make this film, because I feel like the 1997 version, even though it was still a Hollywood movie, still had that kind of energy that was there from the original series, even though Mr. Bean talked a lot in that movie. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think of these recreations. They're actually available now on YouTube after years of being like on shelves. And yeah, let me know what you think, because it's really interesting to see famous skits being recreated for a different audience. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think of this interesting trivia piece.